It's a Friday. Get on in here. We're here. You're here. Let's have a show, shall we? It is January the 10th, and we have some things to talk about. Like CHCH News has learned that Michael Andlauer has sold the Brantford Bulldogs.
A new report shows there were more than 80,000 people homeless in Ontario last year.
Some good news for the Blue Jays. They have agreed to lock up Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to a one-year deal to avoid arbitration. More
Baby steps.
Yeah. Okay, hi friends.
Hi.
How are we doing?
Did you get a new haircut?
A little bit of a haircut.
Oh, looks very nice. Very nice.
Not good on a freezing cold day.
You need all that hair.
Yeah, you do. It was funny. So I parked the car in the garage.
Yes.
And you see the temperature when it's parked in the garage.
Yes.
It was like 1. I pull it out of the garage and it like steadily like drops like a stone.
And shivers.
Yeah. It dropped down to minus 12. That was in my car. I don't know where we are right now, Brian.
Minus 15.
Without the wind chill.
That's without, that's just the temperature.
Wow.
The wind chill is minus 21. Thankfully, the winds are fairly light. And they're from the southwest. So that's not really, I mean, it can be a cold wind this time of year, but that's a little bit milder as far as the air is concerned. So yeah, light winds, thankfully, but minus 15, wind chill minus 21. This is about the coldest morning we've had so far this winter. What we're looking at for the day today is moderating temperatures. Temperature today is going to be better than yesterday. We should hit minus 4 degrees today. Wind chill still about minus 8. Thankfully, once again, the winds will be fairly light. But we are looking for clouds rolling in. Sky's partly cloudy right now, but it will become mainly cloudy. And then we have some snow in the forecast for tonight into the early part of the day tomorrow. And I'll fill you in on that coming up. Looking at traffic, 403 Waterdown Road. Once again, that's our camera. No shake on the camera this morning. Winds, as I said, fairly light. No problems with traffic there. To our MTO traffic cameras, we'll start at Nikola Tesla Boulevard this time. And we're looking at Toronto-bound lanes heading away from us here. Here's the top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge going down to North Shore Boulevard. That's still moving nicely. No problems east of 4th going through, well, Burlington, Oakville, even through Mississauga. We have no problems this morning. So we'll look at weather and we'll look at traffic. And we'll do that coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Yeah, we got a bombshell this morning when it comes to local sports. CHCH News has learned that the Brantford Bulldogs of the OHL, they have been sold to a new owner. Let's bring in Simone Gavros, who joins us live outside the arena in Brantford with the details on this. Good morning, Simone.
Good morning, Tim. And we got this information just early this morning that current owner Michael Andlauer has sold the Brantford Bulldogs to Zach Hyman and his family. And as we know, Zach Hyman plays for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, this news is all supposed to be coming out in a news press release next week. So this is still a developing story that we're learning a lot of information about, and it does raise a number of questions about what this means for the Brantford Bulldogs here in Brantford and what it means for the community itself. Now, Michael Andlauer brought the Bulldogs, the team itself, from Belleville to Hamilton in 2015 after they played in Belleville for 34 years. Then the team relocated to Brantford in 2023 due to the upcoming renovations at the First Ontario Centre in Hamilton and the disagreements that they had with the city officials and those involved with the renos. Now, so far, this is the Bulldogs' second season here playing in Brantford, and the team being here has been met with enthusiasm and excitement by the city to have an OHL team right in their backyard. But this now raises questions, a number of questions, especially about what this means for the $140 million plan to build a new sports and entertainment center for the Brantford Bulldogs. It was intended to be the new permanent home for the team, which was expected to add another estimated $4.8 million annually to the city. Now, this morning, I've reached out to Brantford Mayor Kevin Davis for more details, for further reaction to this. Again, this just came out early this morning that CHCH News learned this detail, but I'm going to be reaching out to people, speaking to some people in the area to get further reaction to the team being sold to a new owner. For now, things back over to you, Annette.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says President-elect Donald Trump's remark about Canada becoming the 51st state is a distraction from the real concern of tariffs.
I didn't think he was going to quit. He probably saw the numbers. Look, I called him Governor Trudeau because they should be the 51st state, really. It would make a great state. And the people of Canada like it. They've taken about 20% of our car business. I'd rather do it here. We could put tariffs on. We don't have tariffs on them yet, but they will. That will happen.
We don't want them either. We do not want to see tariffs on our side. We do not want to see tariffs on your side. It's bad for people who have, for generations, made things together and been successful together to actually start creating barriers between economies like ours. Like we have.
Canada is preparing retaliatory tariffs on hundreds of U.S.-made goods, including steel, plastics, and orange juice. Meantime, Trudeau told reporters after this CNN interview last night that he had productive meetings with business leaders in Washington.
In regards to tariffs and the business community, I had some very good and productive meetings with a number of business leaders here in Washington, D.C. Jay Timmons of the National Association of Manufacturers, Joshua Bolton of the Business Roundtable here in the United States, to emphasize that we have become incredibly successful as countries, as economies, as a continent, because we do things so well together.
Trudeau highlighted that trade and investment between Canada and the U.S. support millions of jobs on both sides of the border, and that a tariff on goods crossing that border will have negative impacts for both countries.
Well, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre called on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to bring Parliament back and face him in the polls. In his first media appearance since Trudeau's resignation announcement, the top Tory says his party is ready for an election now. In the midst of a potential trade war between Canada and the U.S., Poilievre believes an incoming Trump administration is taking notice about policies in Ottawa.
I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to do what he has the legal power to do. He can do it without his caucus supporting him. I'm calling on him to walk to Rideau Hall and announce that there will be an Axe the Tax election now.
So the federal Liberals say that they will name their new leader on March 9th following a vote.
A new report from the municipalities of Ontario shows more than 80,000 people were homeless in the province last year. The Association of Municipalities of Ontario says nearly half of those people have lived in shelters or on the street for more than 6 months, and they were experiencing recurrent homelessness over the past 3 years. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says the number of homeless people province-wide is concerning.
It's concerning. My goal, I'd love to house every single person. But keep in mind, we had 800,000 people show up to our doorstep last year alone. We're spending over $1 billion housing people in hotels right now in my area, Etobicoke North, along the airport. There's a lot of people being housed there, and they want to work. You know, we're spending $1 billion for refugees and asylum seekers. My heart goes out to them, but the federal government needs to step up.
Now, the Association of Municipalities in the province says an $11 billion investment over the next 10 years to create more than 75,000 affordable and supportive housing units could fix the problem. And Oakville High School is trying to make a difference for those who don't have enough to eat. The culinary program at White Oak Secondary School is fully equipped to feed the minds of students and the community. They are cooking meals for the St. Jude's Pantry program.
What we do is we prepare meals and we take them to certain agencies in our community, and that includes St. Matthew's House in Hamilton, Link to Care here in Oakville, and those meals get distributed in Oakville, in Georgetown, and Acton, and also to an emergency housing shelter in Burlington.
To find out how you can help, visit stjudeschurch.net.
All right, let's get back to that top story as we get into sports line, because it really affects the local sports community around here. As Simone told you off the top, we have learned that Bulldogs and Ottawa Senators owner Michael Andlauer has sold the club to Edmonton Oilers forward Zach Hyman and his family. So let's learn more about Zach. There he is, and his family. If you're not familiar, he's currently in his fourth season with the Edmonton Oilers, coming off scoring 54 goals with the Cup finalists last season. Currently has 13 through 36 games this season. He played his first 6 seasons in the league with the Maple Leafs. So why would he want to buy the club? Well, it's all part of a bigger family business. His dad, Stuart Hyman, is a real estate tycoon in the GTA and has had ownership stakes in more than 90 different junior hockey teams, including the Hamilton Junior Red Wings of the CHCH, moving them to Markham back in 2015, where they currently play. But Stuart will not be the owner, we're being told. Zach will be the owner, and his brother Spencer will be the president of the team. Still lots more on this, as the official announcement is expected to come down next week. Bulldogs are busy with the trade deadline. We'll hear from Andlauer about the rumor of the Belleville Senators moving back to Hamilton. He addressed that last night with TSN. We'll have that in Sportsline coming up next hour.
Down low. Prosper Wasselin scores! Brady Wasselin has a 4-point evening going, and he scored to make it 4-0.
To the other local OHL team who had a big night on home ice, as Brady Wasselin had a goal and 4 assists, 5 points as the Ice Dogs dominated the Saginaw Spirit. 3 of those assists went to Andre Lashko, who had a hat trick as Niagara wins it 7-2. This kick starts a busy weekend for the Dogs. They're off to Sudbury to play the Wolves tonight before coming home and hosting Peterborough on Sunday. And oh yeah, the OHL trade deadline, that goes down today.
The lead pass finds Blake. Jackson Blake in, shoot, scores! Blake slides it through, and Carolina's back on top.
Maple Leafs' winning streak is over, as they were stormed in by the Hurricanes in Carolina. Despite going up 2-0 early, Joseph Wall, a bit of a tough night. Leafs netminder allowing 5 goals and 28 shots, including that game winner in the second. Probably wants that one back. Canes captain Jordan Staal, he had a hat trick with his parents in the building from Thunder Bay in the 6-3 win. Yeah, Leafs' 5-game winning streak is over, so they come back home. They face Vancouver tomorrow night on Hockey Night. Let's go to Cleveland, where nobody gave the Raptors, including myself, a chance against the top team in the league in the Cavaliers, coming off a huge win against Hamilton's SGA and his Thunder. But listen, give the Raps some credits. This one was down to the bitter end, but Toronto just could not finish the upset. Darius Garland had 40 points as the Cavs moved their record to 33-4. They've won 12 straight with the 132-126 win. Scotty Barnes led the way for the Raps with 24. They've dropped 4 straight. They fall to 1-17 on the road. Got a bit of good news from Blue Jays camp, as they have signed their star Vladdy Guerrero Jr., but just to a 1-year deal, $28.5 million. It does avoid arbitration that can cause some messiness, which they've done for the past couple of seasons. The bad part is that it's not a long-term deal, and Vladdy will become a free agent at the end of the upcoming season, although talks are said to be still happening before training camp and spring training starts next month.
6:13 already on this Friday. Yeah, Friday morning. Let's get you into traffic. Well, on Fridays, usually the traffic's a fair bit lighter. But as you can see here, 403 Waterdown Road, no problems to talk about right there. All looks good. To some MTO, that's Ministry of Transportation Ontario. Traffic cameras, QEW 406 St. Catharines, fine. Nikola Tesla Boulevard, still moving nicely toward the Skyway. Here's east of Brant Street. So you're coming around from Fairview Street, Toronto-bound lanes towards us. Looks good there. Oakville at the Ford plant, nothing. Same with Dixie Road all the way through Mississauga. Looks good. So take it carefully, please. Let's check our temperature. Yay, good news. We've come up a degree. Yay. We were -15. We're now sitting at -14. The winds have really lightened out, which is even better. The winds are sitting west-southwest right now at about 8 kilometers an hour. If we could have there we are. And it is a mainly cloudy sky at the moment, but at least the temperature has come up by a degree. For school today, we're going to climb to a temperature of -4. It'll be mostly cloudy. I mean, that's still cold. That's below seasonal for this time of year. We've got a low pressure system to the north of us, and it's pulling in some milder temperatures. Also, it's going to pull in some snow, and that's the area blue going by us later on tonight into tomorrow. We could get 2 to 5 centimeters of snow, but at least it'll be a little bit milder. Today, -1 for Niagara, -2, 3, and 4 for the rest of us. Mainly cloudy skies. Niagara could get some snow flurry activity late in the day. Tonight, it's snow. As I said, 2 to 5 centimeters generally for the Horseshoe. you, -2, -4, -6 degrees around the lake. And for tomorrow, temperatures moderate a bit more, 0 to -1, well, -2 for Simcoe and Cayuga. We'll get still a little bit of snow flurry activity in the morning, and then we're looking at fairly cloudy skies with some flurries, but a little bit of sunshine as well for later in the day. So 10th morning of January, out the door, mostly cloudy, temperature right now -14. The wind chill, it's not too bad actually at the moment, around -16. We'll look at the long range coming up. Annette, Tim.
Not too bad.
Well, when it gets this cold, it's just like, can you tell the difference? It's just freaking freezing out. Yeah. Okay. Off and running on your Friday morning. Louis still here in one more day for Emily, so we'll check in what he's got coming up in Chit Chat. Also in business news, average rental prices right across the country are seeing significant shifts. That and other biz in 2. Louis, one more day of getting up with us.
Yes. Well, it's been about 3 weeks. This is the third Friday in a row I've woken up way too early for me anyway.
Oh, you like it.
Yeah, but your weekend starts that much earlier.
I go home that much earlier too, so it's great. Coming up in Chit Chat, Jamie Lee Curtis, the Oscar winner, making a huge donation to the victims in the LA fire. And Lisa Kudrow recently found a note Matthew Perry left for her in a Friends prop more than 20 years later. And later this morning, the 55th season of the iconic children's show Sesame Street, they put out a trailer for season 55. Like I said, features a star-studded lineup of musicians. So we'll get into all that.
Awesome.
Season 55. Wow.
See you at that big red couch in a bit.
See ya.
All right, let's get into some numbers when it comes to business, as we always do at this time. Canadian dollar is down 7 basis points, trading at 69.36 cents US. Gold is up over $13, 27.04.80. Crude oil up $1.73, 75.65 a barrel. Off to Europe. Hey, Europe, happy Friday. Markets are down in London, but up in Frankfurt and Paris.
In Asia, the markets were down across the board, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. In North American markets, the TSX gained 21 points. Wall Street was closed for the a national day of mourning for U.S. President Jimmy Carter's funeral. The U.S. jobs report is set to be released this morning, and we'll see how it affects the markets when they reopen today.
Hey, how are you? It's Friday. It is just after 6:19. Let's get into some business news, and let's talk about rents across the country, because average rents have dropped $2,100. This according to a report from rentals.ca and Urban Nation. That's a 3.2% drop compared to the end of 2023, marking a 17-month low. So in our coverage area, Hamilton saw rents fall 5.6%, 5.6% year over year, I should say, to $1,700 for a one-bedroom. A one-bedroom in Burlington is just under $2,200. That's a slight drop of nearly 1%. Now, despite these recent declines, rents really across the country, they remain 16.8% higher than they were 5 years ago. Rents in Niagara Falls, that increased by 10% year over year. St. Catharines, Brantford also seeing some rental hikes.
Analysts expect that Canada's jobless rate edged up in December to the highest point since January of 2017. This is outside of the pandemic. Statistics Canada's job report will be released later this morning. Now, some analysts expect Canada added a modest 10,000 jobs last month. Researchers at RBC and BMO believe the unemployment rate is going to edge up again to 6.9%. The rate will have an impact on the Bank of Canada's next interest rate decision. That's coming up January 29th.
So a Canadian company linked to a deadly listeria outbreak in the country that has closed all 4 of its plants for good. A Juriki spokesperson says the closures mean the majority of the Toronto-based company's employees were laid off at 2 Ontario plants, one in BC, the other one, it's in Pennsylvania. Canadian Food Inspection Agency, they confirmed last year that a production line in Jurika's Pickering, Ontario plant, that was the source of a listeria outbreak that led to the deaths of 3 people between August of 2023 and July of 24. Plant milk manufacturer Dannon, Canada, used the facility for its product.
Taking a quick break right now. Brian is going to be back with traffic and your 7-day forecast, and he promises it's going to get a little bit warmer.
All
right, 10th morning of January, but the better part of this is it's Friday. 6:24 is the time. Looking at traffic, nothing at the 405 and the QEW just outside of St. Catharines. Looks pretty good there. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge. Now we're starting to see some brake lights down toward North Shore Boulevard, but that's just normal. East of 4th still looks good. Sheraton through Mississauga. 403 going through Mississauga is looking pretty good here. That's the camera just west of Mavis. Temperature this morning, well, at least we've come up from last hour when we were minus 15 with a wind chill of minus 21. Now we're minus 14 with a wind chill of minus 16. So a little bit better. Minus 11 Mississauga, minus 9 Toronto and Grimsby. We talk about seasonal temperatures, and that's the way seasonals are this time of year. Minus 2 for the daytime high, minus 9 for the overnight low. Sometimes records right there for the day today, and it will become fairly cloudy. So a bit of sun and clouds for the first bell of minus 11, and then better today, minus 4. We only got to minus 7 yesterday, but minus 4 for after school and fairly cloudy. So we're looking at about minus 4 for the day today, and some cloud cover moving in. Tonight it's 2 to 5 centimeters. Temperature falls to minus 4, so that's better overnight low than we've got this morning. Minus 1 for tomorrow. That snow will start to taper off, and then we'll see a bit of sunshine. Minus 2 on Sunday, cloudy. Some flurries come back for Monday, and at least we'll get some sunshine for Tuesday, but temperatures start to dip once again into next week. That's your forecast. Annette, Tim.
Okay. You never know what you'll find sometimes when you go treasure hunting, because royal treasures hidden since the Second World War, they have been recovered from crypts in a cathedral in Lithuania.
So these artifacts belong to medieval European rulers, and they include burial crowns, jewelry, and other gold pieces that symbolize the long tradition of Lithuanian statehood. They were discovered in 1931 when the cathedral in the capital city was being cleaned after a huge flood. The artifacts were then put on display in the 1930s, but then they were hidden away again when the Second World War broke out. They were just recovered in December, wrapped in newspapers dated September 1939. The Archdiocese says the artifacts are going to be restored and put on display in the future.
Would have been, I'd love to be there for like moments like that.
Yeah.
Like that, with that discovery.
What is this?
You know what I mean? What's in this newspaper? Just trash it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just open it up. Oh, okay.
Even the newspaper itself would be fascinating.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, another cold one. Yeah, get those shoulders up. You'll need it for another day. Yeah. Warm up finally coming, I think, by the weekend.